talking with stroke survivors to share their experience with their stroke and their recovery. These conversations and support groups provided me with incredibly valuable information and often a willingness and motivation to keep myself going. Let's start. Let's have our guest join us today, and that's Albert Liaw. Good morning, Albert. How are you?
I'm doing great, Ralph. Thanks for
Good.
thanks for having me today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. Albert has two businesses after his stroke. We're going to get into a little more detail, but he's with Gogelman Noodle House. He's a partner with his brother for that restaurant, and then he's also AZN Assassin Boxing, which I'm really anxious to start talking about that. We'll give you his websites at the end of this interview. Good morning. When was your stroke?
2006, December 23rd. Merry Christmas to me.
Yeah, really. What kind of stroke did you have?
A hemorrhagic stroke.
Oh my gosh. Mine was only brainstem only.
So like less than a quarter of people survive hemorrhagic stroke, so I guess I'm lucky to be alive.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. That's amazing. I'm always impressed with the recovery of people with those kind. What limitations were caused by your stroke in the beginning?
Well, I have like weakness on my left side. I have horrible balance, and I have a speech impediment. As you can tell, I have difficulty forming words with my thoughts. My thoughts sometimes go way faster than my words are capable of replicating them. So you're gonna hear me today. I'll probably stumble and mumble through this interview.
That's fine with all of our listeners, because most all of us have something that's going on. So, tell us about your when you had this and went in the hospital on December 23rd. My gosh, right before Christmas. Were you in ICU for a while, or?
Yes, I was.
Okay, how long?
I can't remember, to be honest with you, but I think like ICU for for a week. It's my recollection to the best of my ability.
Okay. Did you go right into inpatient therapy?
I went to a rehab hospital afterwards, and I was there like for about 6 months.
Oh my gosh. Wow. How was that original experience with the recovery?
I actually recovered quite a bit through the recovery, but I found that since coming out of the hospital, I've kind of relapsed. Like I've gone backwards because I remember from the hospital experience, I was capable of walking better than I do now.
Really?
Yes.
Has anybody said why that is? Or?
No, and to be honest, I haven't fallen on it myself.
Okay. Is it
not lazy in that way?
So obviously you felt pretty good about your recovery process for the first 6 months, but afterwards it was a little frustrating, I'm assuming.
I should clarify that my memory of that whole experience is very foggy.
Okay.
6 months after, I completely lost my memory from like 6 months prior to my stroke to 6 months after my stroke. Like that whole period of time is a total fog to me.
Wow. Wow. What are the most difficult things that you think you dealt with?
Probably, like I said, my balance. I really had struggled with walking. I required the use of a walker to get around. But I should say about a year and a half ago, I also suffered a torn meniscus, and now I'm wheelchair bound. I have an electric walker, It's a really cool device. It's actually it only weighs like 40 pounds, but it's motorized, and I use it to get around
How
because
cool is that?
my knee is just so buggered up. I can barely put weight on it, and I'm going in for surgery like in 2 weeks to get a knee replacement.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
so hopefully that I rectify the problem.
Okay. How did I just knowing you're a little bit about what you're doing for businesses and things like that? Uh, do you still go to physical therapy at all, or you do that yourself?
I mostly do that. The gym I work at has an on-site physiotherapist, and I see him from time to time, and we trade like physiotherapy sessions for boxing lessons.
Oh, how cool.
So it's a good arrangement. And
Okay.
he's got me doing some rehab exercises for my knee, in particular because I'm getting prepped for surgery,
Right.
and they would need my knee to be as strong as possible. But prior to that, we were doing some things for my balance and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I found that most of that stuff it's not completely effective. I haven't felt very much improvement from doing that, to be honest with you.
But how do you? I'm I look at your website. I look at your posts on Instagram and other places, and I'm really impressed with how you've overcome those adversities that you've got. How do you do that? Have people instructed you on things to do, or have you self advocated for yourself so much that you're motivated to do the things you do?
All of it is self, but part of my process was like well, about 5 years ago, I started coaching some kids, and in order to help me coach better, I hired a personal trainer to teach me how to balance and to stand and basically hold my punching mitts for my students. And from that process, the owner of the gym noticed they noticed what a good job I was doing holding pads for my trainer. He hired me to do it for clients. So that was kind of serendipity.
Yeah, right. I love that word. um, did you have the the medical? My a frustration that I had when I started my recovery was the medical profession didn't provide me a lot of information. They, I don't think they knew a lot of information either. Back then, it's mine was 8 years ago, so it's like they're learning more now. But back then, did you get much from the medical profession? Were you frustrated with that?
Well, I wasn't birthday because, to be honest, at that time, like my personal opinion was, I didn't care. Like I, I was like what's the word I'm looking for? Like I just kind of almost gave up internally, so I didn't give a shit. So sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right.
I didn't give a crap about my personal health at that time because I kind of gave up on life. And also, the medical institution basically told me that's as good as it gets. You're not going to improve.
That phrase is just so disgusting.
Yes, it is.
I just they told me the same thing. As good as it gets. So I it's just totally. So How did you get through that mental health? It wasn't a crisis, but the mental health difficulty. Did you have other people to help you, or caregivers, or?
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago. My little brother approached me to start a noodle business, and that gave me a reason to strive to improve to get better, and it gave me like my life some a semblance of purpose to move forward. And we built the noodle business into a restaurant today, and 5 years ago, like I was telling you the story about how I became a boxing coach for hire. That really gave my life purpose. That really gave me a reason to keep on living, and it really made my life awesome. To be honest with you, like coaching boxing is my favorite thing in the world to do. I like nothing else comes close to the satisfaction I get from teaching my clients to box.
Nice. Now, did you do that before? Do boxing before your stroke?
Yeah, before my show, I was an amateur boxer and also a boxing coach as well. But I worked for one of the top boxing gyms in town at that time.
Then you decided to go at your own, huh?
Well, I didn't actually had any had any inclination to do this. If it wasn't for the fact that the gym owner approached me and said, "Would you like to do this?" It never even occurred to me that I could resume my career as a boxing coach. But thanks to his name is Tony, and thanks to Tony vision and foresight, I'm doing what I love to do and what I was born to do.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. Tell me about it. It's AZN Assassins.
AZN is abbreviation for Asian.
Oh, okay. And tell me about the business.
Well, Asian Assassin was my nickname when I was a boxer, given given to me by my old boxing coach Benny, and so I adopted the name for my business. And the way the business worked is that I offered one-on-one coaching services to clients who booked me for half an hour sessions, half an hour to 60 minutes, depending on how much they can handle. And I teach them like the fundamentals and the basics, and I have students that cover the whole gamut of skill. I have some that are just beginning, so they're just learning the complete basics, and I have some students that have been with me for over a year, and I'm now sparring. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Do you? I know you said you're wheelchair bound right now, but are you still able to do physical boxing with the trainees?
I'm able to stand on my feet and hold pads, but
Okay.
due to my knee injury, I can't move around much. So when it comes to teaching the footwork, I get them to do that on their own.
Okay.
Like I meant that, but I'm still coaching them, but I instruct them on what to do, and I watch them do it basically.
Well,